Dr. Christina Conolly, and welcome again to our MCPS video series, Waymaking. Our goal is to help our families make their way through many of the emotional challenges we are faced with today. I have with me today two guests who help to support families in MCPS. With me, we have Mr. David Gysberts and Miss Jacqueline St. John, who are Pupil Personnel Workers, or PPWs, in MCPS. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dr. Conolly, for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us here.
All right. So for our first question, can you share what is the role of a PPW? How do they support students in school?
Sure, I can share the role of a pupil personnel worker. We carry out different functions within the school system. So in our role, we serve as advocates, consultants, liaisons, and referral sources for our students and families. We advocate for students and families by identifying and removing barriers that prevent students from achieving their full academic and social emotional potential, and providing necessary supports to assist with removing those obstacles. Some common barriers that students and families are facing include mental health needs, accessing basic needs, navigating enrollment and residency issues, as well as accessing information they need in their preferred language. Another function of our role is that we act as consultants for our schools. Schools often consult with us to ensure that they're following appropriate protocols and procedures to county, state, and federal laws and regulations. We also consult around appropriate interventions and resources for our at-risk students. For disciplinary cases that we have, intake meetings, IEPs, and 504s, as well as developing and implementing restorative practices with our students in our schools. We provide consultative support to schools to resolve residency concerns, as well as to resolve challenging or unique enrollments, and managing our students and families who are experiencing homelessness. We act as liaisons too, and we link students and families to school and community resources. For instance, we facilitate a collaborative partnership between the school, foster families, and child welfare services, for example, or other service providers to help to triage the best plan for our students and families. We serve as liaisons between families and Montgomery County Public Schools by conducting homeschool instruction reviews twice a year. As PPWs, we are experienced in identifying root causes to unique challenges that our students and families face, which is impacting their student success in school. We use our expertise to focus primarily on supporting regular school attendance and engagement, but we're also frequently connecting students and families with resources they need, especially around mental health and basic needs. Since MCPS shifted to the all virtual learning during the COVID pandemic, our work largely has been focused on identifying some creative solutions to keeping students and families engaged and connected to school. In addition to addressing basic needs like food and shelter, we've been supporting the mental health needs of our students and families. That has been a large part of our role as well, linking them to community resources like wraparound supports for therapy, for case management, or other individual needs that the family may have. So especially with the mental health concerns related to both the health and the social justice crisis that our country is currently experiencing. So this has truly been a challenging time for all.
No, absolutely. And that's a lot of things that you all are doing to help to support our students in our schools. So then my next question is, so how is a PPW aware of a family that needs support? And what resources are typically recommended?
I'll take that one, Dr. Conolly. There are a number of ways that PPWs become aware of students and families that need support. Since most of us work with multiple schools in the same cluster at the elementary and secondary levels, we often become aware of needs through our established relationships with families from over the years, or likely from a direct referral from an administrator, counselor, or other school staff. We've also learned to create new ways to fortify these relationships with students and families using technology, especially these days. But often as colleagues, we'll alert other PPWs if a family in need of support moves into another school attendance area. So we have a gentle handoff so that families make sure they know who they can go to if they need support. Another way we become aware of student and families in need of services is through each school's student well-being team. This process really started as we began virtual learning in the pandemic, and it's really gotten school teams to focus more on issues beyond academics, like mental health or other well-being needs that may be impeding a student's attendance or achievement. So each school has a process for referring students, and a dedicated team regularly meets to formally identify students and families in need of this support. And PPWs are active members of these teams and supporting students and families whose unique needs go beyond what is available in the school walls. Also, perhaps most importantly, when we see that children are chronically absent, meaning that they miss more than 2 days of school per month for any reason, that's usually an indicator that a family may need support, including anything from basic needs to health and mental health. In terms of resources, we routinely help students and families navigate various systems, connecting them with emergency shelter assistance, medical insurance, food and childcare, rental, financial, and job assistance. We commonly refer students and families to mental health providers, both inside and outside Montgomery County, depending on the student's needs. So basically, we're equipped to help provide any resource the family may need in order to reduce or remove barriers to a student's attendance or achievement.
Wow, no, that's a lot as well. A lot of support for our families. So then if we have families that are watching this, so how can students and families get support from their PPW?
Well, we are an integral part of each of our school teams and communities, and there's a variety of ways that students and families can access support from us. One way would be to contact the school directly and ask for the name and contact of the school's PPW. You can also find us on the MCPS website. If you go search in the search box, Student Services PPW, you'll be able to find a lot of information about us there. We are members of the Division of Pupil Personnel and Attendance Services in the Office of Teaching and Learning, Student and Family Support and Engagement. So you can also reach us by calling the office at 240-740-5620. Often students and families are referred to a PPW by the school counselor, administrator, or other teachers or teams at the school. So you can always contact those folks to connect you with your PPW.
No, thank you. And so my last question is for the both of you. Do you have any suggestions or feedback for families and students to help them to stay resilient during this time?
Thanks, Dr. Conley. I can chime in on that. I think mental health is so important during this, especially during this time. I think it's important to find one thing each day that you can do for yourself involving self-care. Self-care is very important. It's imperative to take care of your mental health. Often we forget to take care of ourselves because we're so busy taking care of our children, taking care of others. But then we find ourselves feeling burnt out and overwhelmed. So it's like the mask on the airplane example. You know, we have to mask ourselves before our children in order to save us all. So, you know, in my opinion, the same applies to our well-being. You know, self-care is very important. So, you know, my feedback to families is don't neglect the importance of daily self-care, mental health, and your emotional well-being. Find the one thing that you enjoy and make an effort to do something for yourself every day. Seeking therapy, exercising, reading, journaling, talking to a friend, taking up a new hobby are all some suggestions for daily self-care. Self-care helps us to stay resilient during these tough times. So being kind to yourself is truly important.
I wholeheartedly agree with what Jackie said about self-care habits and routines, not only for parents, but also for children, and finding even a small amount of time each day to go on a walk or do some physical exercise, listen or dance to music, meditate, whatever self-care looks like for you, taking that time is important. Even basic things like setting regular and healthy routines for sleeping and eating, for parents and children can help you stay resilient in times of increased stress or adversity. And I find that in especially difficult times, taking deep cleansing breaths and finding something to be grateful for each day can have a positive impact on my mindset. So I try to practice gratitude and mindful breathing. And, you know, find ways to spend quality time with each other as a family on a regular basis. Even as a parent, find ways to learn and grow. Visit the MCPS website and search mental health, and you can explore a ton of information and resources on a variety of topics. And definitely reach out to family and friends, neighbors, school staff, if you feel like you or your child needs support. Relationships are a big part of resilience.
Yes, you know, please reach out to us and ask us for help. You know, don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help. PPWs and other school staff are ready and willing to support you and your family.
All right, no, definitely. And I know as we are filming this now, it's been warmer outside. I've been taking my own walks for my own self-care in the afternoon. So it's very important for our families to really, you know, engage in some of those activities in order to help you to de-stress. So, you know, I want to thank David and Jacqueline for your time to be with us today. And we want to thank our viewers for joining us for Waymaking. To send us additional questions and topics to discuss on our show, please visit the link on your screen. Also, please go to our YouTube playlist to find additional shows in our series. And we want to thank you again for joining us for our MCPS video series, Waymaking.